Hey everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to make this inverted glowing text effect in Photoshop. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a tutorial. For this image, we will be working in 16-bit mode instead of 8-bit mode, and here is a side-by-side example of the difference. So on the left side, in 8-bit mode, if we zoom in, you might see these lines here. They're really subtle. That's called banding. And this can happen in 8-bit when you're adding glows or soft lighting effects because Photoshop has to blend a lot of subtle color transitions. Whereas when we go to 16-bit mode, if you zoom in, you don't see these banding lines. You just see smooth color transition. 16-bit mode supports more shades of color, so everything just blends much smoother. The file size will be a little bit larger, but for glowing text and lighting effects, the results are totally worth it. To adjust this in Photoshop, go to Image, Mode, and right now we have 8-bit checked. Just go ahead and check 16 bits. Okay, so we're starting with a 1920 by 1080 pixel image. I've already got my text layer here, and the typeface I'm using is Benoit Pro. It is the same font used in the Stranger Things logo. So go ahead and right-click on your text layer, and then click Convert to Smart Object. This will allow for non-destructive editing. Go ahead and set the layer's blend mode to Screen. Now go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. We're going to start small with a radius of 0.5 and hit OK. Now we're going to take this layer and put it in a group. This is really important. So do you see this folder icon at the bottom of the layers panel? Go ahead and click and drag your glow layer into that folder icon. And now you'll see that that layer was put in a group. We're going to double click to rename this group Glow. Now we're going to make 6 copies of this layer. To duplicate a layer, all you have to do is on your keyboard, click Command J or Control J on a PC and make 6 copies. The copies should automatically be duplicated into the folder, and that's where we want them to stay. So I'm going to leave the original bottom layer as is, but starting with the next layer up, we're going to double click Gaussian Blur, which you can see right here. If you cannot see your smart filters, you may just need to click the little up and down arrow next to your layer. So double click Gaussian Blur, and we're going to change the next layer up to 3, hit OK. Going up to the next copy, we are going to change that to a radius of 10 pixels and hit OK. The next layer up will be 15. The next layer up will be 70. The next layer up will be 300. And that top layer we are going to set to 500. Building up that Gaussian blur gradually will create a gradual blur without losing the outline of the text. All right, with your layer group selected, now go ahead and click the adjustment icon at the bottom of your layers panel. If you can't see it, it is a black and white circle. If you click that, you can go up and add a solid color adjustment layer. Make sure that it's black. We want it to stay inside our folder group, but let's drag it to the bottom of our folder group. Now we're going to add a little bit of texture to our text effect. So click the new layer icon, which is this plus sign, to add a new layer right above your black color fill. And making sure that your foreground and background color is set to the default. You can just click D on your keyboard to set it to the default black and white. Go to Filter, Render, and then Clouds. So we're going to drag up the cloud layer to sit somewhere in the middle of your glow layers, maybe 3 or 4 layers up. In fact, 3 layers up looks good. Change the blend mode to multiply on your cloud layer, and then bring the opacity down to 80%. All right, so let's close up our layer group by hitting this arrow on the left so that our layers panel is not cluttered. And we're going to add another adjustment layer using this adjustment icon. So go ahead and click that and select Gradient Map. So if you hover over this layer or right between the top two layers and you hold down Alt or Option, you will see my cursor change to the clipping mask icon. And once you see that clipping mask icon, just click once with your mouse and now you have clipped the gradient map to the glow layer. You could also click the clipping mask icon here under Properties or use the key command. It's up to you. Now in Properties, I need you to double click this gradient bar and this will allow us to customize our gradient with the gradient editor window. We're going to keep the black and white stops that are already there and we're just going to add 2 more stops. So to add a stop, click once under the gradient bar and then double click the stop to change the color. It doesn't matter what color you pick. Just pick any color and hit OK. And now we are going to change the blending mode from normal to difference. So this blending mode is essentially what takes this text effect from glowing text to inverted glowing text. So once you have difference mode on, you can go ahead and double click your gradient again and add your colors. Just remember, with the difference mode on, the colors that you choose here may not actually reflect in your design. The colors that I'm going to be choosing for this first color stop is going to be 6A0606. And then for the second stop, I'm going to use the color FB0119. And you can move these stops around to adjust the glow of your text effect. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add a background image just to make the design look a little more interesting, and you can download this image in the YouTube description. So I'm going to go to File, and we'll just place Embedded, and the photo that I'm placing is going to be a brick wall. And let's make this bigger so it covers the entire canvas and hit OK. And I'm going to move this below our folder. Brick backgrounds seem to be pretty popular with these types of effects, but we're going to have to add some adjustment layers to darken this up and give it some contrast. So let's start by going to our Adjustments tab and grabbing the black and white filter. We're going to bring the reds down to -125, and we're going to bring the yellows all the way down to -200. And now we're also going to grab a curves adjustment layer to increase the contrast. And all you have to do is grab this line on the histogram and bring this down until it fits your liking. I might add another point here and bring it down some more. And now we can click on our brick layer and even just bring the opacity down, I'd say somewhere between 20 and 30%. And this will provide you with the contrast you need to see the glowing text effect while also having a nice brick texture in the back just to make the design more interesting. All right, for one last trick, you can still change the font or font size of your text if you open up your layers group. Let's go ahead and grab our original layer. And do you see this smart object icon in the layer thumbnail? All you have to do is double click that icon. And that opens that specific layer in its own window. And so if you want to change the typeface or you want to even change the size of the typeface, you can double click the T icon and let's just grab another typeface. I grabbed Abolition and now we can hit OK. We may need to bring the size down because we won't be able to see all the text. And now if you go back to your original, you're not going to see a change yet. So you have to hit Command S or File Save in your Smart Object tab. Once you hit File Save in your Smart Object tab, you will see the changes updated in your original document. Now, this is a great example of how important typefaces are because I think like this typeface and this text effect don't go well together at all. I think this text effect needs just a slightly bolder typeface, so that's something you can go ahead and play around with and choose for yourself. So this concludes the tutorial portion of the video. If you enjoyed creating this glowing text effect, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. In the final part of this video, I'm going to discuss the contemporary context in which you can use effects like these, as well as introduce you to a prominent artist who used these types of effects in their work. Alright, so while the tutorial we just went through may seem like just a fun digital art activity, if you pay attention to the world around you, you're going to see similar effects used in a commercial context. For example, businesses will use neon signs of their logos. So if you're a logo designer, you can use Photoshop effects like these to create mock-ups to show clients what a glowing sign of their logo might look like. Apple has used glowing effects in commercials as well as on their screensaver designs, while news outlets like ET have glowing versions of their logo sitting in the background while they're broadcasting. You also have movies or TV shows like Glow on Netflix that use these effects for their cover graphics. These commercial graphics are part of a much longer artistic lineage. One art era that leads us to these types of special effects is, surprisingly, the Minimalism era, which emerged in New York City in the 1960s. Minimalism in art is a movement characterized by extreme simplicity of the elements of art. Minimalist artists focused on simplicity, geometry, and color. Their work removes unnecessary details, letting form, space, and material speak for themselves. This is an installation by Donald Judd. This piece is by Silhouette. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat screaming at me in the background. And this piece is by Agnes Martin. Dan Flavin was a minimalist artist who worked almost exclusively with fluorescent light fixtures, arranging them in simple geometric forms. His work is not about complicated shapes or elaborate details, it's about pure light and color. Glowing light, as you learned in our tutorial, can add a dramatic mood to a composition. Dan Flavin's work exemplifies this, and if you can gauge the mood of his work just through these images, imagine what it's like to experience these very large art installations in person. While the work we created today was not minimalist in concept or form, think of this tutorial as a way to experiment with the same principles minimalist artists used, simplicity, color, and light, but we're doing it in Photoshop. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as well as the brief bits about art history and minimalism. If you learned something today, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out. Thank you.